Shalom, shalom. This is Rabbi Moshe of Tero. We're looking at towards the end of chapter 4 of the book, To Be a Jew. And one of the things that we always review is trying to stay in the middle of the road. Now, middle of the road sometimes is not an easy thing to do, but the middle of the road, according to Maimonides, is not going to the extremes. Maimonides writes, lest a person say, since jealousy and lust and desire for honor are evil ways, I will separate myself completely from them and go to the other extreme, to the point where they refuse to enjoy the pleasures of food by abstaining and eating meat and drinking wine, where he refuses to marry a wife or to live in a pleasant house or wear nice clothing, but instead chooses to dress into rags. This too, says Maimonides, is a very evil way. It is forbidden to go that way also. So one can go in the path of a sinner, and therefore did not our sages ordain us that a person must deny himself only that which the Torah forbidden us, but he must not forbid upon himself things that according to the Torah are permitted. And over concerning all such matters, King Solomon said, do not be overly righteous, excuse me, or do not be wise, lest you be led to iniquity. That's in Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 16. The idea of not going to the extremes of one side to the other is something which Maimonides in Judaism really teaches. The best and the straightest road that a person should train himself is on the middle of the road, where he develops a moderate quality in each and every personality trait, and where he goes along the middle of the road, he is called a wise man. A man must not feel shame before his fellow man. They mock him for worshiping the Holy One God, blessed be he, and for abiding with his commandments. In that case, one should not respond to such taunting and insolence of the impudent, so that he may himself not acquire a bad habit of impudent. Do not side with the multitude of a majority to do wrong. Neither shall you bear witness to pervert justice. In a dispute of learning towards the multitude, we read in Exodus chapter 23, verse 2, although the biblical law is in the context of judicial practices, it is a moral significance was more broadly applied. The rabbis also derived a lesson from the literal meaning of the last three words of the Hebrew text, Acharei Rabim Leatot, and he took them to imply that except when it is to do wrong, one should not follow the majority. A person must keep away from things that causes illness, and train himself to do only those things that cause health and healthy habits. It is written for your own sake, and therefore be most careful. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 15. To take the utmost care and watch yourself scrupulously. And that we read in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 9. Thus, excessive drinking, smoking, abuse of drugs, and eating of foods that may prove to be harmful are forbidden from halakhic purview. Yom Kippur does not atone for transgression between a man and his fellow man. This has got to be repeated over and over again, because even many of us have forgotten that important lessons. Until the grieved party is pacified and forgives, the person whose forgiveness is sought is, however, duty-bound to forgive wholeheartedly. He must not react cruelly, for this is not the Jewish way. To hate evil as much is a virtue as to love justice. To hate cruelty is as much a virtue as to love mercy. So thus, it is not enough only to refrain from evil and to disdain cruelty, but one must also actively pursue justice and mercy, for it's written, turn away from evil. That's a step 1. And do good, step 2. That you'll find in Psalms 34, verse 15, and chapter 37, verse 27. And here we find, in essence, the way of walking within the Jewish prescription. And that is not going to the far left, not going to the far right, but right in the middle of the road, where is what God wants from us. Shalom, shalom.